Trump. A lot of people were speculating. There was a lot of conspiracy theories about him.
He is a stage prop. That's why they were putting makeup on his hand.
Instead of passing some type of gun reform, what they want to do is, well, maybe the teachers should be armed.
Once we didn't do anything, once Sandy Hook, I was like, oh, we ain't never gonna do nothing.
There was a Netflix documentary that had made some headway. It was about this guy named Jussie Smollett.
No. Jussie Smollett. Juicy. We need to come together and ride for just being black in America. We need to put that at the forefront.
They're trying to come after all these black men. They're coming after all these black men. That's all they want to do now.
All right. Welcome back to the Black Summit. I am Hendrix.
And I'm Brooks.
And we have
Dr. Veronica Pearson.
Back again, a regular in the room. What's going on, Doc? Tell everybody what's going on with you.
Life is life. I'm happy to be back. Y'all know this is National Wellness Month, so I want to make sure we understand that to take care of our bodies. You know, that's one of the things we're going to make sure we address with y'all while we trying to get y'all mind right. We got to get the food in there too, and the exercise. Health and wellness player. You got to be ready to knock a few buck. If you're unhealthy, you can't fight. Mentally or spiritually.
Do you participate in the great lock-in?
What's
between
that?
September and, they're saying till December, where you just lock in whatever you're trying to do. Read
your
books.
120 days.
Yeah. So read books, wellness, whatever.
Well, I tend to do it in stages. So I'm like, okay, what's my goal for the month? Okay. And then I break that down into weeks and days and stuff like that, because I'm not celebrating in 120 days. I'm going to celebrate every time I make a milestone happen.
Boom.
So, yeah, but that 120 is like, you should have been locked in all year, player. Don't
try to lock in now.
Yeah, you like, oh, damn, it's about to be 2026. Yep. And it's going to speed by just as fast. So, yeah, but long as you locking in and you staying focused, whatever it is, I don't care if it's just you doing an inch a week, get it done. And find the people that's going to feed you. Don't be around here with these stingy people.
That's right.
Sure. That's
all right.
the business.
Yeah, so let's get into the topics. I'm going to do the quick rundown. Today we're going to be talking about Trump. A lot of people were speculating. There was a lot of conspiracy theories about him, saying that he had been offed low-key or something had happened to him.
He's cloned.
But he had a press conference today, and so we'll be talking about that. We'll also be getting into next steps for black folks, Yeah. We're going to be talking about that. Dr. Veronica's going to walk us through that.
Power moving.
So, and then we're going to be talking about what happened in Minnesota. It was a very sad scene. We didn't get a chance to talk about it. It actually happened a couple of days after we had our podcast. So we'll be talking about what happened there and what they're doing now. And then Cardi B, I guess, she went on the stand, and on Court TV, there were some clips of her kind of going viral. It was kind of weird. This lawyer was kind of coming at her in all types of ways. So we'll be getting into that. And then the Jussie Smollett documentary. A lot of people are upset about it. Some people are okay with it. We'll be talking about that because it kind of low-key makes it seem like he might be innocent, and it's changed a lot of people's perspective on him. So we'll be definitely hopping into that. But first we're going to get into Trump, and he actually had a press conference today at 2 p.m. Eastern. All right, so we have this clip of Trump talking about the rumor that he had passed away. So let's see what this has to say.
How did you find out over the weekend that you were dead? You see that?
No.
People didn't see it for a couple days. 1.3 million user engagements as of Saturday morning about your demise.
Really? I didn't see that. I have heard it's sort of crazy, but last week I did numerous news conferences, all successful. They went very well, like this is going very well. And then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said, there must be something wrong with him. Well, it's fake news. It's just it's so fake. Is he okay? How's he feeling? What's wrong? I said, I just left. And it's also sort of a longer weekend, it's Labor Day weekend, so.
How did you find out over the weekend?
All right, there you go. So what did you guys think about this conspiracy theory that had happened, and now Trump saying that he's okay and obviously doing a press conference?
I don't think it was a conspiracy. It was a conspiracy theory type of thing. But I think it was just the White House not wanting to admit that this is an almost, 80-year-old man. that has repeatedly told you he eats processed food on a consistent basis, that we can see with our own eyes this man is not aging in a healthy way. Like outside, even with his tanning, even with the spraying in his hair to try to make it look fuller, I was like, then they said he had like, the CBI was like, what is it? I'm going to mess it up. The vein issue that he had.
Yeah.
I was like, even with the vein issue, it was like, it affects older Americans, especially ones that are unhealthy because it deals with cardiovascular, vein issues, circulatory issues. That's why they were putting makeup on his hand. He is a stage prop and they know that. He does all this over the top stuff, like he's wearing that hat. Trump it was true, real, telling the truth about everything or right about everything. And so they don't want people to know this man is older with health issues. So all that running, they was like, okay, he needed a break because anytime we didn't see Trump for maybe a day, what was he doing? Golfing. We still saw this man. So to not see him and the White House gonna act like, oh, that's normal. So they didn't want to admit the man is sick. He's an 80-something-year-old man with vein inflammatory issues. And then they're sitting there running him left to right. And he probably not listening. He want to eat what he want to eat. That's why they keep making them suits bigger and bigger because he's a big dude. Because remember, he was going from tailored and looking all powerful and everything else to even his first term in 2016. Now look at him. I was like, they spraying him down in the hair. They coloring this man. I'm like, all around his eyes, you can tell the man is sick, his jowls, everything. But, they're going to ride out the lie and prop him up like Weekend at Bernie's. Probably give him, an adrenaline shot and I go out there and talk.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. It's okay to admit the man is old and he's unhealthy. It's okay.
I heard about this and I saw a post on Instagram where this guy who's a doctor, and it says doctor claims Donald Trump has only 6 to 8 months to live on brink of heart failure and, like she said earlier, vein disorder. So let me see if I can pull up what he's saying.
I see congestive heart failure patients on a daily basis. The reason I know that he has congestive heart failure is because of the swelling in his feet and ankles. The reason I know it's getting worse is because he's sitting behind the desk on camera now. He lashed out against MSNBC for giving him hash about his ankles. This is how we know that something is true, because it gets to Trump. Remember recently where he was talking about going to heaven for some fucking reason? Just people said I'm not doing very well. I don't think he's talking about the media. I think he's talking about the doctors who are treating him. The only reason his health has been maintained at all is because he has the privilege of getting IV diuretics, spironolactone, Lasix, Bumax, something like that.
So that was, I guess this guy is a doctor who claims he sees congestive heart failure patients on a regular. And he's saying he believes, now granted, Trump, if he has been diagnosed, we won't know that. Of course, they're going to keep that from us. So not saying that this man actually diagnosed him, but I guess he's saying he sees signs and sees symptoms of him. So have you guys noticed that? Have he been sitting behind a desk a lot lately?
Yes, because when you see him either walking from the helicopter, the plane, and going. Other than that, like even when he had the EU meeting, all that, he was sitting down the whole time that they were. That's why he kind of had that little throne looking thing and all the people was around him. He was sitting down. All those pictures that they showed, they didn't show a video of him walking out one time. And then he has chronic venous inefficiency. So that it says chronic venous inefficiency, a condition where leg veins don't effectively return blood to the heart, often resulting in swelling, discomfort, and skin discoloration. So as I said, you're talking about a circulatory issue. And I was like, because I have doctor friends, it was like, girl, his circulation is off. And for people that his age and eats the way he eats, I was like, they just don't want to admit it. That's why J.D. Vance even came out and said, like, I'm ready to lead if anything was supposed to happen. J.D.'s the same thing as Trump. He going to be led by Peter Thiel and all the rest of them. But they want to play in our face when every 80-year-old looking at him like, I know you sick. It ain't even just us. The older people are looking at him like he's not a healthy older person. He is an unhealthy person. I was like, so I don't know.
And don't he eat McDonald's? Like,
yeah, he brag about all the fast food.
Not throwing shade at McDonald's.
Yeah.
We all know
you can't
too
eat
much
it every day.
Yeah, we all know too much. Normally
this
too
man
much fast food.
served McDonald's in the White House at a banquet.
Well, he had it on the plane with FDR, and who's supposed to be over the what department FDR is supposed to be over?
You talking about
You're talking about RFK.
I'm sorry.
I was about to say,
hey,
that happened way back in the day.
Roosevelt.
didn't know
I
he
was
was
sitting there too. He
alive.
was tripping me up. I was like, who's FDR on the team?
Edit that.
FDR on the team.
No, I put
RFK.
that in.
RFK
Yeah,
is over
CDC.
CDC, right?
Yeah.
And they said, man, it's ironic. They're on a plane with a whole bunch of Big Macs and
Yeah.
RFK said, I guess I thought he said he don't even eat like that, and he's supposed to be over CDC and this is what they're eating,
Yeah.
Look, he can't say nothing to me because he ain't even got no license to be
All
talking
right,
about.
I'm about to get in
CDC.
trouble. I'm about
Why?
to get in trouble because, listen, I think that I'm always going to be objective about these things. One, I just want to point out, obviously, like I've seen Trump the past like 6 or 7 months, and you can tell that he seems way tired. He seems like something's definitely going on with him. He doesn't seem, like his regular self. He's lost a lot of weight lately. And you could see, even in this interview that he had today, like his eyes, there's something going on there.
Tired.
He definitely looks tired. So Republicans who are trying to like hide some of this stuff, you can't hide it, bro. Like we can see it for ourselves.
You saw it in Biden.
Yeah.
We see it in him.
Well, that's what I'm about to get into right now, because I just want to point out the hypocrisy of the Democrats real quick, because low key, y'all didn't have nothing to say about Biden. Okay, I'm just being honest.
It
Y'all,
wasn't all the Democrats.
anytime anybody said anything about Biden, y'all was like, "Oh no, there's nothing wrong with him. There's nothing wrong with him." You guys are saying all kinds of stuff, but now you all want to hop on this. Now y'all want to hop on this. Y'all weren't saying nothing when people were pointing it out. Okay. And then y'all always talk about like people with the conspiracy theories, but y'all are running, which by the way, I don't believe in any of these conspiracy theories because people lose me. Like when people were talking about, oh, the election's rigged and they're using the machines in order to rig it. I was like, bro, I can't follow you on that. I can't follow you on that. Like if you want to talk about the Hunter Biden stuff, okay, I can follow you on that. But if you start talking about machines and all this other stuff, and the way that these conspiracy theories, oh, he's dead. Look, look at what's going on with him. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, I can't follow y'all on that.
They
and you
keep his
guys,
body in the White House for
y'all
4
talked
days.
all this mess. The Democrats, they talked all this mess
Generalizing again.
about,
You see that?
what had happened. Okay. And now they can have their conspiracy theory.
Yeah, but I'm
I
going to
ain't
tell
with
for my
that.
Democrats
So-
who were talking about Biden was sick. We didn't like the
Hypocrisy.
hypocrisy of the Republicans because they were trying to not act like Trump wasn't on the same vein as Biden. Now, we didn't even know Biden was fighting cancer at the time. We didn't know this.
Right.
But I was like, both of these is old men who got cognitive decline. I was giving them both that. But the Republicans wasn't trying to admit it on Donald.
But were you saying that about Biden?
Yes, I did. I said Biden wasn't healthy. But I said I still was going to vote for a corpse. I said I would vote. I admit what I said. I said I would vote for a corpse before I voted for Trump.
I'm just saying that
right
there's...
now, apparently Trump is a corpse.
There's some
United
hypocrisy
States.
going on.
Yeah.
That's what I see.
But
I understand
But I get
that,
you.
But
like, obviously there's something going on with Trump.
yeah.
But y'all can't talk. Y'all can't talk because y'all weren't there.
I hear what you're saying.
for the Biden
I'll
stuff.
play the middle, so
So,
I'll somewhat
that's what I'm
co-sign
saying.
with both of y'all. True, you did have a lot of delusional Democrats about the decline of Biden, and now you're gonna have the same thing with Trump. A lot of and yeah, like you said earlier, they are two old men. They need to have, and I'm gonna say this, people get mad. Ageism. You need to cut off a certain age to be holding these office. I think the age should be like maybe 60, 65.
Josiah's not going to agree with you because Bernie is like 90.
No,
You don't need to be in office neither.
Hold on.
60,
I wouldn't
65
vote
should
for
be the cutoff.
Bernie. I'm just more of the Bernie ideology.
Okay.
I wouldn't vote for him
But
if
you
he
want it
ran.
in a younger form.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I say AOC.
Yeah.
That's why I say
Yeah.
some of these other people who are coming up,
But
I'll vote for
I
them.
think it should be like 60, 65 should be the cutoff, at least for the presidency. Because you got to realize, this got to be one of the most stressful jobs ever.
Yes.
You see how Obama looked when he first came in?
The
Then
hair was
towards
black.
the hair was jet black. And when he left, I'm like, man, and I got a baby face.
Right.
Imagine I was the president.
You look older.
I might look like Methuselah. I might get
Telling you,
done.
bro.
But I think it should be an age cutoff. 60, 65 should be the cutoff. The same way the military,
Yeah,
you
standard
can't
time.
serve after a certain age. It should be the same thing for some of these
I feel
office
that way
people.
about the Supreme Court. I
Yes.
was like,
Oh, yeah.
a
For
lot
life?
of things.
Oh,
that-
For
yeah.
life?
Look, and I'm telling you, and this is right here. Once we get back the majority of both houses for the Democrats, when I tell you, I'm working on one right now. I was like, I've been working on one. We need to set term limits for the Supreme Court.
You know something, man?
I said, how are we? Because they thought that would have been deterrent for
Yeah.
people taking bribes and special interests, but we
But-
see
but
that
having
is not
fun.
the case.
We are
Yeah.
definitely
You know what I
not
mean?
with this.
And we
But
got
you
these
know-
people around here
You know, man,
for life.
my take on that Supreme, I agree. You pointed
All
for
right,
life,
one-
right?
1 minute. Go
Real
ahead.
quick. I think that's still Biden's fault, man. He could have
Yep.
put somebody, but he refused because he want to be so bipartisan.
But even if he put in, the person would have
I'm
still
like,
been there for life. I don't want
yeah,
them to have
true.
life appointments.
But my thing is this. No, I get what you're saying, but my thing is this though. Even if he would have put somebody, or they say, yo, put somebody on the Supreme Court, another Democrat, but he refused. He didn't want to do it. At least if he had done that, Trump wouldn't have been able to get away with so much that he's able to get away with now.
Like I agree with you, but then I don't. The reason I play the advocate because we've seen how a lot of them switch up once they in there, and they'll sit there and say, "Oh no, I'm for the people, I'm for the even keel," because they keep losing 6-3. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So even though we
It's
had that
stacked
fourth
against them.
man, you see, it still would have been what 5-4.
It would have
So,
been 5-4.
Yeah, but and then you don't know how that one would have weighed because we've seen how some people we thought was for us, for the allies,
True,
for the allies.
true. I mean,
and they're not when they get in them positions.
But I get what you're saying. But
Yeah.
I would still rather
They
we
show their
don't
whole self.
we don't know until they get there.
Yeah, but I agree
I'd
with you.
rather
He should have
have a
put somebody.
dog
He
in
should
the
have put
fight
somebody.
versus not having nobody.
But I agree with
at
that
all.
part. He should have
We
put
should have had a
somebody.
dog in the fight. You know what
All
I'm
right,
saying?
we got to move on.
Staying on
Massacre.
time.
I want to talk about what
Massacre?
happened with the massacre. Yes.
Yes.
Go ahead, you gonna read
with
that?
the kids. In Minnesota, Tim Walz plans to call a special legislative session to consider tougher gun laws following the unaliving of 2 children and 21 people were injured. Okay. We've gotten to a place in America where I feel like people are so desensitized to what's going on. I mean, after all these kids, I mean, it's kind of like, okay, and we're on to the next one. Nothing ever really happens. There is no legislation that ever gets passed, you know, but these politicians pump out their chests like they're going to do something. And we already know you ain't going to do nothing. And so what can we do? What can people do? I mean, you're talking about, you know, what is it? Like 23 kids who were...
Yeah, 5. I think 2 were unalived.
Yeah.
I'm just saying unalive because I think you got to edit this. So 2
Right.
were unalived. The other
Exactly.
17, along with I think 2 adults, a 65-year-old or something like that, they were injured and taken to the hospital. And the shooter was a transgender woman named Robin Westman. I want to make sure I'm saying the last name correctly. I don't want to make sure I'm.
I think it's Robert, but yeah.
Robin
She
Westman.
had changed her name to Robin.
Yeah, Robin Westman. And but I think that for me, and my pivotal moment where I understood how America thought about their firearms and their ego and their money was Sandy Hook for me, because I'm old enough to remember Sandy Hook as an adult, and when you had, you know, Obama up there and he was crying about it, like we need to change all this. And at the time, the country was rallying because these were kindergartners that were slaughtered. And when you had, you know, people talk about Republican, you had the Republican Party going right back, fighting hard with the NRA, pumping money into all the messaging. Oh, they're going to take away. That's how they ended up getting a lot of the Tea Party movements, a lot of the the Trump support. They harp on that. They're going to take our guns away. No politician has ever limited for real your right to buy a weapon. None of them have. And so when I watched them sit there and do this same song and dance and literally you had Alex Jones telling these parents, and when I tell that thing, the level that hurt me, because you telling these people they kids dying was a conspiracy theory, and that they was part of the conspiracy. Can you imagine somebody telling you that your 5-year-old was part of a conspiracy and they died, and he milked that for years, building up that InfoWars thing and all that? I was like, they better than me, because the breathing he would not have done anymore. But I looked at, so once we didn't do anything, once Sandy Hook, I was like, oh, we ain't never gonna do nothing, because they were 5-year-olds that got slaughtered in that way. And we got all this talk, and literally Republicans were getting paid more money by the NRA to keep the gun laws going. Now, every time we've gotten a Republican under Trump, both terms, we got lax laws. They don't even cross states anymore. They don't even background check. This person here bought all their guns in a month. That shooter bought all of their weapons in a month. And did you read, if you can, go online, read her manifesto. When she was saying, oh, I'm the person they should be looking for, but they're not going to look for me. They're not going to
male transition
to
into
a woman. Yeah. And they were like, I'm the person they should look for, but they're not going to look for me. Oh, it's so easy. And she even talked about how she mentioned around her friends, oh, all these issues of what I'm going to do to people. And so she was like, oh, when this happens, they're just going to be like, oh, I can see it now. She was saying something to us. They literally was saying, you're not going to do nothing. Like, and I'm the person you should search for. This person was able to do all of this. Even the guy who went and did the shooting in New York. I was like, they literally dropped stuff on him, didn't take the guns from him, all of that stuff. I said, we've gotten more lax because we've put more air into ego of, oh, I deserve my guns. Oh, my guns are important to me. This ain't muskrat times. You have literally went from us being able to, put nines. Now we got extenders. Now we got automatic things that we can attach to these weapons. And we're giving this freely. And we are the most prescribed country for prescription drugs. We got the most health issues. We got the most anxiety due to all the political bullshit. The draining people, mental with trying to pay their regular bills. We got everybody falling for every single thing in social media. Nobody knows what's real. AI trying to tell you everything. And you're literally saying, oh, well, go ahead. You got the right to get a gun just because you don't fail a background check. And so mind you, we just got Florida released where, people who had domestic violence issues can go still keep their weapons. So if you're telling me, I really do feel they want to keep the system going, the anxiety going, the crime going, because it detracts you from what they're doing, stealing your money. It detracts you from how they robbing you in the government. It detracts you from being able to fight for privatize, like they're privatizing your social security, privatizing your health. Because if you in a country that's constantly fighting in a state of anxiousness and worry and fear, you can't go to the movies. You can't go to church. You can't be around the mall. You can't go to a government building. They got people in a state that they're going to keep getting them prescriptions and keep going to get guns. I know people who got more value in guns than they do in the bank.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So,
what do you think?
All right, it's not what I think, it's what is actual facts, right? So, America, free market, so greed and everything. So you can find these, and which I'm going to give y'all as actual facts, but you can find these are backed by ABC and CNN and 6 other hard things, right? So politicians can be funded by the NRA, direct campaign contributions, which are tracked by organizations like Open Secrets. So just to name a few, here is a guide of how funding information of the NRA-funded politicians. Use the Open Secret websites. You can find these information, or you can search the NRA recipients and view recipients' data. Yeah. So I know, right? So an example of some politicians who have received NRA funding. So that's the thing. We have to actually call them out, right? Yes. So Senator Roy Blunt of Missouri, Republican, received $4.5 million for NRA fundings. Then you have Senator Tom Tillis, received $4.4 million NRA funding. He's a Republican for North Carolina. So then you have Representative French Hill from Republican Arizona, received $1.1 million for NRA funding. Then you have Representative Ken Buck from Colorado, who has received $829,000 from NRA funding. Then you have Representative David Young from, I guess it's Iowa, received $697,000 of NRA funding. So this is why these things will never pass, because once these things happen, they say that the gun sales actually increase. One time there was a thing with, there was a shooting, a mass shooting when Trump first term. Instead of passing some type of gun reform, what they want to do is, well, maybe the teachers should be armed. The teachers. They want to have the teachers. So it's the same way with crime. Instead of giving valuable resources to the youth so they have something to do, we should put more cops on the street. Instead of having gun reform, let's arm the teachers now and let's give them more guns. So it's all about money. It's all about money. It's all about greed.
I'm gonna say something
they won't
real
do
quick.
anything. Go ahead.
Yeah. And people might, and people gonna probably have an issue with this. And it's sad to say, a lot of them parents who at them courtrooms right now, and looking at the town hall meetings, and they're talking about this shooting and looking at them. You got your groups, the mom groups, and all that stuff like that. How many of them people voted for these same politicians
Of
that they
course.
knew
Of course.
were not going to pass these laws?
course.
How
Of
many?
course.
And I'm talking from all of these shootings we've had. When you read the room, look at the room, because these are happening in white schools. Real talk.
Yeah.
Because we didn't even put white men on the terrorist watch list. Remember, that's how Trump them ran. We attacking young white men. The FBI said this is the profile. You know, but you got to admit to yourself, you in that room and you voted for these politicians that were going that way because you were still stuck on your American constitutional right to bear arms. You didn't want the change, or you would vote somebody in there and hold them to the fire to change the laws when your children are the one suffering. These kids still got PTSD from Sandy Hook. 20-something years old. Some of them have unalived themselves. These kids are never going to be the same. So yeah, they got to admit they're part of the problem. It's not just these politicians taking money. It's the everyday American that is allowing it.
Yeah. And I'm
And we gun owners, so don't come at us like we just want to take away your guns.
And I was just about to say, because I'm an avid gun owner. I own legally. I own a gun,
Right.
and because you
black.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
better
They like to stereotype
for
black
real.
people. Plus, we are both veterans, so and we had to fire with. At least I know I had to fire weapons all the time. So I'm an avid
I
gun
had
owner.
expert marksmanship.
And
just to let y'all know, I put a cap.
So it's times have changed. This is not the Wild Wild West where you got to pull out a weapon and fire at somebody like that.
You have
nowadays,
children
so.
getting killed for ding dong, the door knocking thing.
I
just died.
I heard about that.
And this person's getting charged with murder because he chased behind the kid and shot him in the back.
Him in the back. Yeah, that's
For ding dong ditching.
That's truly sad.
This is
that's
where we
truly
got
sad.
to. But they got
truly
to. America
sad.
got to look at themselves. It ain't just your politician; their reflection.
And they big on, they're gonna take our guns. They're gonna take our guns. Nobody's not gonna take your damn guns.
We got the highest murder rate in any country.
Exactly.
And we supposed to be so industrious and first world. We got the highest prison population due to gun violence than any other country. Every other country have laws. What was it? The Netherlands, when they had those kids killed all those years ago, and once they put that in play, they ain't had a mass shooting since.
Yeah. And in Europe, their police don't even carry weapons.
Look, China, you gotta wait 6 to 8 months to even get the license.
I mean, this
That's why they over there knifing you.
This is exactly this is ridiculous, man.
It is.
Americans
It's sad, man.
they need restraint. They need restraint.
I feel bad because them kids
They need
that
restraint.
hurt me. So.
I'm a gun
Yeah,
owner, and I
it's-
never had to shoot my gun,
Thank
bust
you.
my gun at
Me
nobody.
either.
And if I have to be at a place where I have to, I don't need to be there.
There you go.
Yeah, something has to be done because
They ain't gonna do nothing.
I
They
mean,
not.
the fact that this keeps happening again and again and again, and nothing gets done, nothing gets passed, and it seems like these politicians that say that they're going to do something, they don't do anything, and these kids keep dying, and there's going to be more. That's unfortunately, it's going to be more,
Yeah.
and. So, I mean, the Republicans are focused on, it's a trans and it's this and it's that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's, mental health. Oh,
Okay,
it's
so
all
underneath that, it
these
still was a
other
white man,
things.
right? If I want to play the devil's
still was a
advocate,
white
it still was a
man.
white man. If I want to play that devil advocate part for them.
Right. Everybody's trying to focus on everything else except, the fact
the
that
root.
the person had a gun.
Yeah.
And I'm not against, pew-pews, as they
We gotta
say.
say pew pew.
I'm not against it.
Pew pews.
All right.
Yeah, they
So,
gotta say pew pews.
What is
I'm
that?
not against it.
Oh,
But the thing is something has to be done. There needs to be tougher, laws in place
They won't
to
do
not let some of these people get guns, and that's the only way.
They
So,
will not.
anyways,
They tired of being American. That's what they do. They tired of, you got to be American to get this gun. Because one thing I can say my little Democrat, jokers will do, they at least try to fight for some gun control. And then as soon as the Republican get back in office, and if it's a shooting, they flip all the laws right back or even make them worse.
Because you remember when Trump's first term, when he had Huckabee? Huckabee was the
Huckabee
Yeah,
Sanders.
yeah.
and when they were saying they were at the press conference, they always run the same rhetoric, right? They at the press
Thoughts
conference.
and prayers.
Will y'all pass gun reform? This is not the time to be talking about that. People have just been unalived, and we should be thoughts and prayers for the. They grease over the subject every single
Thoughts
time.
and prayers. Thoughts and prayers.
You will not have no gun reform, and you will not have health reform. Obama tried it, and granted, was it perfect? No, it wasn't perfect. But you won't have that because of the pharmaceutical, because there's too much money.
Health insurance
the
companies.
most money politicians get is from NRA and from the
Healthcare
pharmaceutical companies.
Mhm.
And that's why, and they paid them to stay out the way. They
Mm-hmm.
paid them to stay out the way, and that's the honest truth. That is the truth. But then you will have some brainwashed people. Well, and they are skirting they'll do these things, and like we was talking about how with the big beautiful bill, right? My aunt, who is now suffering from early stages of dementia, because of the bill passed, a lot of Medicare things get cut.
Yeah.
So I was telling a neighbor, happened to be a white guy. I was saying, man, because his father is in a nursing home now, and he's saying like how expensive it is. I said, well, you know what this bill is? Well, no, it's like that because they don't want people not working, just taking up
Yeah.
all the Medicare.
Mhm.
I'm like, how is that even possible? I said, well, it's affect everybody different. Now my aunt can't even get Meals on Wheels now because, oh well, I didn't know that. I said, yeah, exactly. These are the cuts for these things. You will never have affordable health care, and you will not have gun reform.
And
in
these are
this
people
country.
that paid into the system. Think about that.
Exactly.
And they try that because they don't want to admit that they didn't care about looking out for you. That's what your neighbor tried to do.
Right.
Like
exactly.
he wanted to admit he didn't care, but I said it's gonna start knocking on his door when that door. I guarantee his door gonna fall up and they're getting some assistance. Okay,
Yeah.
and they're cutting all of that. These are people that paid into the system. These aren't people that they love to try to say drain in the system. When the biggest welfare recipients, if we real, is
It's
wealthy
white-
people.
yeah.
The farmers. You think the farmers ain't
farmers,
getting
yeah,
kickback
yeah.
from what is it, WIC? EBT, U.S. aid was going to some of them. That's why some of them are looking crazy when Trump canceled a lot of U.S. aid
Exactly.
contracts. We were their only clients. They were making millions off of us. These farmers ain't
Well,
walking around overalls and broke.
Wasn't SNAP invented for farmers?
Look, and
The
SNAP
food
was not
stamp,
invented for black people.
It was
That's
not.
what-
It was for the heartland. It was
tried to do
invented
that.
for farmers.
Yes.
Because they said, look, we are the heartland of
And we
America.
need to be taken
What
care
is
of.
our incentive? That's what food stamp
They
was
literally
invented
got
for.
insurance if they have bad crops, if they don't sell enough. The same way they got deals with the prison complex if their beds are not full to at least 70% capacity in Texas
Exactly.
alone. So when you want to talk about the welfare system, they always got you trying to look for the lower person on the economic food chain. And they try to always have you look, if possible, for the brown person on these food chain when it's actually them, the ones who get the most widow benefits, the ones with the most pension, ones with the most Social Security is not brown people.
It's
But they love to throw that.
documented.
We gotta
but
move
3.1 to 1.2 million. A little hick town of all white folk running damn food stamp fraud.
Yeah, they had in Utah too, and they busted it. It was Utah, one of the Mormon people.
Documented.
Yeah.
But
West Virginia.
At the end of the
West
day,
Virginia.
they
Brett
gonna point
Favre.
the finger at
I'm
you.
just kidding.
Brett Favre. Brett Favre.
Right,
All right.
and he
Brett
still ain't
Favre.
get charged. Still ain't get charged
Favre.
with stealing the money. But we
Yep.
worried
All right.
about the little lady down the street.
All right, we got to move on, y'all.
Yes.
There was a Netflix documentary that had made some headway, and it was about this guy named Jussie Smollett.
No, Juices. Juices Smollett. Juicy.
So
Juices.
Jussie Smollett. Basically, this documentary came out. It's called "The Truth About Jussie Smollett,"
I have to watch this.
and it kind of made it seem like this guy is innocent. And I'm not even gonna lie. I was watching some of it and watching the video at the end that they'll show. Spoiler alert. That ain't them brothers. I'm just saying.
Really?
Low-key. If you watch the video, it ain't them. But let me read this real quick. This is
Go
from
ahead.
Variety. Director says the doc was not made to help rehabilitate his career in any way, talking about Jussie Smollett. So he had to come out and make this statement, the director did, because a lot of people are saying that this is way too like heavy-handed on making Jussie Smollett look good. And I agree with that. I mean, it changed my opinion of what was going on there. So, as we talk about this, obviously people had their opinions of it. Obviously, he's been absolved. Well, in
On
court
technicality.
on
Did he have to
technicalities.
do a restitution or something like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah,
Because
so,
for man hours, right? For the police.
well,
looking
they
for-
had made a deal with him,
Yeah.
and they tried to renege on that deal, but a judge came back and said, no, you can't do that. So they had to honor the deal. And so, listen, you got to watch the documentary. It's actually pretty good.
Because they almost like it was a
Yeah,
double
and
jeopardy
now
thing.
I haven't seen this documentary, but there is another one, right, previous to this, where they actually interviewed. I don't think this is the same one. Where they talked to the two Nigerian dudes, and then they even had like because these stores have video and show them going in to buy the rope and the mat and things like that. So I'm just like, so now you saying this one here, I guess somewhat exonerates him from.
Yeah. That's
Really?
the way it looks.
So I haven't seen it, so I can't really speak on it.
The question is Jussie Smollett innocent?
I don't know if he innocent or guilty. The
Juices
evidence. Stop
Smollett.
saying that man's name.
It's actually Jussie.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But from what I seen, like I said, I seen a little bit of the documentary, and I'll be honest, I wasn't interested. I just was like, let me see it. I know people that know the man, stuff like that, and they always riding for him. They was like, nah, he's a good dude. Da da da. But in my mind, it was just too many unanswered questions, right? Not just on the prosecution side, but also the defense side that couldn't be like definitively proven. But when it all started unfurling, and then I'm starting to side-eye him, because even common sense-wise, real talk, when it first was told, I was side-eyeing Jussie. I was like, some stuff ain't clicking for me, bruh. Like, I've been in hood environments, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I was like, and I know people who from that area, all that, they was like, that don't even make no damn sense that went down with him.
That's what
so
I'm saying.
when the check came out and the brothers came out, and so people was like, oh, the check was for fitness stuff. That's what Jussie originally said, and that's what they even verified in the document.
Yeah.
And then, but they was like, no, he paid us to do this, stage reenactment.
So he paid cash.
Yeah, no, he paid a check.
Check, okay.
So when that's how one of the ways they was able to connect him to the brothers was the check. And then the brothers were saying, oh no, he didn't pay us. He was like, oh no, it's for fitness. They were saying it was to help him stage that issue.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons I was looking at with Jess was like, your career was blowing up, dude.
Yes.
Why would you even do that? So that's what made people kind of feel like, why would he do that? Because his career was blowing up. And then the brothers was like, okay, why would you lie? Because they was like, oh, the police had stuff on him because when I was a felon and all this stuff like that. I was like, they still could have got him and shipped him back. So them setting Jesse, who the hell is Jesse for them to set up? That was my whole thing. They set up Obama. So I was like, so then the part that made me question that, I was like, and I believe, I could be wrong because I know these people personally. For all we know, that money was for something else. And if I admitted to it, I put myself in deeper stuff than just saying, no, they wrong. It was for workout and fitness program. These dudes wasn't certified trainers. Jesse is a celebrity with access to trainers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's why the prosecutor was like, okay, because it might have been for, some little narcs. We don't
paraphernalia.
We don't know that. And I'm going to get in more trouble if I admit that. I'm going to just take this L and say, and they will get in more trouble too if it was for that than them saying he took it to set him up. You see what I mean? So I was like, this check could be funny.
But you know what?
That was one of the key ways they got him, though.
I hear what you're saying. I think if it was paraphernalia, I think they would have dig deep into their back. Because think about it. If you doing
that's
paraphernalia.
why they wouldn't admit the check was for that,
No.
bro.
What I'm
this
saying.
Is all on us talking.
Hold on. This is what I'm saying. If it was paraphernalia, I think they can do enough due diligence to dig deep and find other people who they might have distributed to, if that was the case, right? So that's why I don't know if all is paraphernalia. But for me, why I found it hard to believe, you in Chicago. I don't know if it was the South Side. And they said, oh, this is Trump land or Trump. And now if you was in Georgia or Kentucky, I'd have been like, okay, yeah. Oh yeah, that all
they
day
out
long.
the cold ready to jump you.
That's what I'm saying. You in Chi-Town? And this is Trump land?
Yes,
I'm like, what? And then you already had what was the when Trump was threatened to bring the National Guard, what is that, the governor of Chicago? Was that the governor or the mayor? Who spoke?
Mayor.
The mayor, the black guy, right? Say, oh yeah, we don't want tanks on our street and stuff like that, right? Granted, he may have not been the mayor when this happened, but still, Chicago? Yeah. And I'm like, yo, and they said, this is Trump land. I said, Kentucky?
Even in the documentary, Jesse was kind of like he wasn't like full coming forward. That's what I was like.
That's what I'm saying.
There was some stuff he probably don't want us to know, and I'm good with that. This man.
Hey, we don't know, but if that was down south and they said that, then I said, okay, I can believe this happened.
It was just too many things not answered.
I think y'all should watch the documentary because what they do is they talk about the Chicago police and how corrupt.
I believe that,
and how they twisted a lot of things, and then. When you watch it, you're like, oh, dang, low key, they did twist some things. There is footage missing. There is, like these other things that are happening.
10 seconds missing, wasn't it? Something like that. They were saying 10 or 12 seconds missing at the time of the trial.
Looking at that, low key, it makes me go, I don't know, even though I don't believe Jesse at all.
Right.
Like, this dude is the least credible person. I mean, like, and the way he acts, you know, I was
Yeah.
watching this one TikToker, I can't think of his name, but he was like, well, you know, some people who are like theater kids, they're like very dramatic.
Yes,
But it's
yes.
like, you're going to put the rope back on your neck?
Right.
Come on.
Right.
Now. How
Hey.
dramatic are you going to
Right.
be?
That's why even if the police had a hand in like circumventing some of the evidence, right?
Mhm.
Because once you got them, like, we got to ride the story out, we got to just make it stick because they
Yeah.
couldn't connect everything.
Yeah.
You helped them by being so ignorant with, with
Yeah.
the evidence and not coming forward because you probably didn't, in my opinion, didn't want to get yourself in trouble with other stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm
for
like,
real.
yeah, them brothers was
You
a
know,
whole different
I
character. They
don't know,
making money
man.
off this
When-
right
when-
now.
when-
Them
when-
brothers is getting paid.
When Jussie
Yeah.
came out that one time, I think it's before this, and say that he was the gay Tupac,
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah. So you know he set himself up.
I
when he was
forgot
after that.
about
I'm pretty
that.
sure.
Yes.
I'm pretty
I
sure
forgot
even
about that
Tupac
shit.
was
Yeah.
even Tupac was somewhere like, hold on, Hail
But
Mary.
that was one.
What? Even
That
Tupac
was one of the
like,
things when he
what?
went on
I
Robert
was like,
Roberts
what?
after the attack, and people was like, "How you let them get you? You the gay Tupac?"
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yep.
Yeah,
I
for
remember
real.
that.
I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
okay.
But
okay.
Jesse can come back.
Okay,
It's like
Jussie.
Hollywood full of people that came back from worse.
Yeah, true.
Like, and he's
Look
a
at-
talented
and,
guy.
yeah, and look
Just
at Robert Downey Jr. He
Yeah.
came back, you know.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I was
And,
like, we may not believe a story coming out your mouth too swift, but you
know
can
what
still
I'm saying?
come back and entertain the man can sing. I mean, he was man.
Yes.
Jesse was about to be hitting.
But it's
Yeah.
it's like
bruh,
you to go to what you said. You said his career was doing
Like,
good.
so that's why that
So
excuse
why would
didn't
you
fly
even-
with me.
yeah,
I
that's-
was like,
I
my man was
understand
singing. Like, literally, even straight dudes was like, oh, my man started
Oh,
fire.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
talent. He's
Right?
talented. He's talented. He's
actor,
talented.
all of that.
Regardless
and his family
of
was
sexual
riding.
preference,
Yeah.
he's talented. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
you
I don't
know?
care what my man
Yeah,
do.
you know, he don't lay with me. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
But that's why we
know?
was like, they just chose you. You coming up
Yeah,
the sandwich
exactly.
shop.
I'm like,
all the
what?
black people walking down Chicago.
And they chose you. I'm
Which,
like,
by the way, you know, people were like, "Oh, well, why was he even outside?" But
It was
they,
at nighttime?
they look at the video in Subway. There were multiple people out there
Yeah.
because there was like a
Yeah.
blizzard happening,
Yeah.
and
And
they
they
were like,
just chose
"Ain't
you.
nobody gonna be walking down the street with
Yeah.
a blizzard." But
Yeah, because the video showed
Subway
people.
was open,
Yeah.
and there were people there. So
and they chose him.
That's why I was side-eyeing. I'm telling you, because when they first
Wow.
talked about the case and they had people in the subway, I was like,
Yeah.
so did they recognize you off TV?
I know.
Yeah, but
I'm saying.
at the end of the day, we got bigger fish to fry. This is
Exactly.
Netflix documentary.
I
But
probably
Yeah.
should have the filmmakers' names here, but I don't see it. So,
no, his name's in the article.
but what is it?
No, the
is it-
director. His name's
Is it? Oh yeah,
The
Gagan,
yeah, that's
Ryhill,
I think that's
something
the
like
one.
that.
Gagan
Um,
Rehill.
Rehill. Which, you know, listen, they did a good job. They got the cops
Yep.
to come in and do their thing. They
Psych
found
gotta-
witnesses.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this is a well done documentary.
I need to watch
And it makes
I
you
need to watch
decide
it.
for yourself. That's what I looked
Exactly.
at the part I clicked.
do
Like, it
need
made
to
you
Well,
decide for yourself.
it's heavy handed.
Yeah, yes. It's,
Oh,
yes,
oh,
yes.
so it's
But-
It's
leaning.
definitely leaning.
But
Leaning?
remember one
Oh,
thing in the
okay.
article they said, so in case people wondering, he was not Jussie Smollett,
Smollett.
Smollett. We jacking this man name. I do apologize, sir. He was not paid for this documentary.
Okay.
So the director said, as far as he knew, Jesse was the one that hands down. They said he was not paid.
Oh, okay.
So before y'all thinking this man missed a little bit of change.
But he was aware of them doing this documentary?
yeah, he was in the
he was in
documentary.
it.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
they had the
Gotcha.
brothers with their.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know
sales
how
in
they
there.
did this, but they got everybody
cops,
that
they
you
got
could
all of them
want.
in
there.
Like
Yeah, I
the
definitely
only
need to
people that I
see
don't
it.
think they got was like the mayors.
They didn't get the
So-
prosecutor. I didn't see the prosecutor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't see the prosecutor. I saw the
But-
police officer, but unless I didn't finish that part of it, I didn't see the prosecutor.
I mean, it's well done, low key.
but after a while, I was like,
I
do I
gotta,
care?
I gotta see it,
Yeah.
right? Like you said, we
All
got
right.
bigger fish to fry.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
want
yeah.
Cardi B?
all right. Yeah, let's move on to
Let's go to nothing, I don't
Cardi
care.
B.
Body, Bodak Yellow.
Let's see. So, clips from Cardi B courtroom testimony, which has been live streamed by Court TV and recirculated across social media, brought new attention to a 7-year-old case. The artist testified in court about a case that stems from a 2018 incident involving plaintiff MLA Ellis, a former building security guard who has sued Cardi B for alleged assault during an altercation between the women. All right, and that's from CNN's Entertainment. I just want to play some of the clips that are going viral of Cardi B.
You got to see it with the facial
And,
expressions. Y'all got to
yeah,
see it.
yeah, I'm sure everybody's kind of seen it by now, so we'll show this.
No, I was calling her a bitch.
Did you
look at Miss Imani Ellis's face when you were arguing with her at the time of the incident?
I was looking at her face, but I wasn't looking like, she got a pimple on her face? No, I wasn't looking at her details or anything.
Yesterday you had black hair, short hair. Today it's blonde and long. Which one is your real hair? Or are they both real?
They're wigs.
You said she's bigger than you. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
How do you know that?
I mean, look.
And why were you concerned?
Because I'm pregnant and this girl's about to beat my... Hello?
Hello. Hello, I'm here. When I'm talking to you now, are we having a verbal altercation?
We having, we'll see, a debate.
Did you call her fat?
Anyways, these clips are going really, really viral. I don't really know.
I think the cross-examiner is being stupid.
That's exactly
He's
what I.
being petty.
Yeah.
Tell me, she says like, "Oh, was she bigger than you?" She said, "Yeah, 'cause she's bigger than me." Oh, how you know that? She pretty much like jackass. Look, you can see she bigger than me. What the hell are you talking about? I think that's when you don't have anything. When you really have nothing. You know what I'm saying? One thing I like about Cardi is like honest to a default. You know, she's calling her a bitch. She's honest. I like that about her. I respect that about her. She definitely honest to a default. And I really don't care for wigs like that, but I will say her wigs did look good on her head, at least from what I was seeing. You know, she's very entertaining. She's entertaining. But we should ask the lady in the room. What do you think about the wigs?
No, it was. Her wigs is fire.
Signaling you out.
What they say, no lace. I was like, I don't wear them because I can't stand the lace, the glue, all that.
That thing in the front,
I can't do all that. And the plucking the edges, but some
and
people want is fire.
You can tell
some
they all do the same thing with the low hairs.
Yeah, because you got to cover the edge. I don't care when they talk about no lace. You still can see the glue.
I heard they put makeup on the lace.
No, some of them do because the makeup blends the skin tone in.
That's
a lot of work. Yeah,
rock some cornrows.
But I agree with you. It's entertaining, but the questions he was asking her was very stupid and just like, okay, if you got some hard hitting questions about did I attack your client? Why did I attack your client? What specifically happened? You know what I mean? Then ask me that. But don't come at me talking about my wig. Talk about, okay, we have an altercation now because now you're trying to get, what he's trying to get her to do is tell on herself.
Yeah, pretty much.
And show her hand by saying, okay, so if I lied that this a wig, oh, you just said, that's your hair. So you're a liar. You see what I'm saying? If she'd have came back like that. Oh, you're trying to say, you wasn't looking at my client. No, I was looking at her. I was trying to figure something out about her. Okay, no, how, because he even asked her, how were you disabled? Cardi's like, I was pregnant. It's a lot of things I can't do when I'm pregnant. And so I'm trying to protect myself. Yeah. He doesn't have evidence that's going to say she attacked your client, she was weak, like she was stronger than your client, none of that. And this is 7 years old.
Yeah, I'm like 7 years.
So they still nursing or whatever big payout. But some people, when they sue people on Cardi's B financial level, anybody who got insurance for corporations, anything like that, they'll keep dragging it out, hoping the person just settles for something. They go to $24 million and might get $500,000.
What do you call them? Ambulance chasers?
Yeah, because she's suing Cardi for $24 million. I'm like, girl, you didn't even get beat up? Because I saw that dang video and the pictures. Where was the $24 million worth of hurt on her? I'm waiting because your lawyer gets at least 25 to 40% of that, depending on the lawyer she has. So it's all like this point. I'm like, do we care? No. The lawyer, he needs to do a better job. Otherwise, we can't take him serious.
You can't. Yeah.
And that's why Cardi just clowning.
I don't think nothing gonna come of this because remember when Cardi sued that
Cardi's won every case that came against
the podcast, the girl from the podcast who was blatantly lying and
was it a wine or something, Tasha wine or something like that,
and then said, "Oh, I don't have that money."
Yeah, but Cardi said, "You still paying me?" Yeah, she still got paid.
Which she wants. Crazy amount of money off of her.
Because the lady was really lying on Cardi. But I think most celebrities need to sue a lot of these gossip men. I think they do.
They need to. We don't lie on Black Sunday.
I ain't got time to lie on nobody.
We don't lie. We will say alleged.
One thing we can all say is that those clips are entertaining.
They're very entertaining.
And low key, it was like a Trump thing.
Yeah. Because I don't blame her. It's almost
that's
like
she
like,
Trump
dude.
talks,
yes.
low-key.
Yeah.
The way she was
From 7 years.
Like, I called her a bitch.
She probably like, well, how can I take this serious?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't even remember what I did last week, bro.
I'm like, and she, I heard some of it too. Where I think in a good defense, what Cardi was saying, she said, look, I was pregnant.
Yeah.
And I didn't want people to know that I'm a celebrity. I didn't want to put that out just yet. So it's not like I can do but so much to her. I don't want her to attack me.
And she's taking pictures of me.
Exactly.
while I'm here getting this done as far as my pregnancy.
Because you don't want that
And
up
for people to
publicly.
even understand, it's not when they try to say, "Oh, it's a female thing," or Cardi's a rapper, she might be, emotionally, just tripping or whatever. I was looking at an interview which I love, Pete Davidson interview with the Breakfast Club. I don't know if y'all have seen that.
I saw it.
That was a great interview with Pete Davidson.
Yeah?
But that's one of the problems he had. Was the people taking pictures
of,
of his woman being pregnant, and they didn't even nobody knew yet. They didn't want anybody to know. And he said, they contact him and said, "Hey, well, we'll wait a couple months before we releasing it." And he was like, that was decent of them. He was being facetious. But you got these people that's taking these people's moments that they don't want anybody to know, or they want a whole special. But he goes into details. Like he said, what if she'd have lost the baby, because women can lose it at that early stage, and you got it all over the place. He said it's just like no privacy. But his interview was very good.
Yeah, I saw
and
it.
I tell people, go see that Pete Davidson
That's
interview.
that's one of the downfalls of being a celebrity, man.
Yeah, you got no privacy, man.
People want
That's
to,
true.
they literally run up to you and stick their phone in your face. Let me get a selfie, you know. And I see celebrities, but I don't rush them.
No, I don't care that much.
Let's talk about another celebrity. This is a bonus thing.
Oh.
Snoop Dogg has been getting in trouble for his comments. What do we think about this? I want to play this clip, and then we can talk about what Snoop Dogg had to say.
They move on into the space years. They move down the line. They're like, man, she had a baby with a woman. Well, my grandson in the middle of the movie like, Papa Snoop, how she have a baby with a woman? She a woman. Oh, shit. I didn't come in for this shit. I just came and watched the goddamn movie. Hey, man, watch the movie. They just said she had a baby. They both women's. How did she have a baby? Shh. The movie ain't over with. So it's like, fuck me, I'm scared to go to the movies now. Like, y'all throwing me in the middle of shit that I don't have an answer for. It threw me for a loop.
All right, so what do you guys think of Snoop's comments?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll play the devil's advocate and an angel here. As a mother of 3 young adults now, right? So I'll give you an example what happened to me when the first time we started hearing about that pregnant man. If y'all can Google, look his name. I can't remember the first time they had him on People magazine cover, stuff like that.
Was actually a woman.
Yeah. It
transitioned to
was a
man.
transgender woman, a transgender man who kept his ovaries.
Because biologically, no man can have a
Who
baby.
kept his ovaries, right? Yeah. So I'm in the grocery store. My children saw the cover because I think he was on the cover of People magazine. And my kids was like, Mom, men can't get pregnant. Why do they say it's a pregnant man? Because that was the cover. People magazine had it on at the time. And so this probably about over 15 or so years ago. And I told my kids just like this. And I wish somebody would try to had correct me in that grocery store that day. Yeah. I said, men can't get pregnant. I said, that's not a pregnant man.
Facts.
I said, that's a transgender man. Y'all understand that as y'all get a little older. I said, but no. I said, women get pregnant. I said, that's just an unattractive woman. That's why I said it for my children. You can eat it. You can do whatever you want to do. Because they were very young at the time, right? Because my kids knew what we had taught them biologically. I wasn't one of the ones that cuckoo kiki with their kids. We taught them just in case when they went to school, went to STEM programs, went to things, they could explain stuff to us if something happened. You know what I mean? So our kids knew men could not get pregnant because right now we have, in the U.S. alone, we got the highest rate of anxiety, highest rate of depression, highest rate of suicide amongst a lot of millennials and Gen Zs. And I mean, Xers, I'm sorry. And I've had this question with a lot of them. It's the twisting of their minds. It's like, so if you ever watch Brain Games, that used to be one of our favorite shows, me and my kids and my ex-husband. We used to watch Brain Games, and it taught you how the brain can't lie to itself. So once you tell the brain the truth, the brain can't lie to itself. So I said, so if you're transgender, I'm going to respect what you want to do. If you want me to call you her, got you, boo. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to call you by your name. But I think we've gotten so lost in respecting someone else's respect for you and maintenance of themselves. So you want me to call you something that I know is a lie, that I know is not true, and it's twisting these young people up because you're trying to force them to believe something. And so in Snoop's case, I take my childhood to be entertained by Disney. You talking about a parent who cut off a lot of shows once I started seeing stuff going to the left. I cut off Teletubbies. I cut off SpongeBob. I cut off Jessie them on Disney because you started seeing them. It's not that I didn't explain these things to my kids. I grew up with a whole transgender aunt. Before it was all this name brand stuff. And you know that. I grew up my trans aunt. So I grew up with all her homosexual friends, the lesbian ones. Peanut used to teach me piano. This was our house. My grandmother welcomed everybody, but my grandmother stayed 10 toes down on her belief. She was like, I love you. My grandmother said, I'll have a heaven and hell to put you in. I'm too busy trying to keep me out of hell. But she loved on them. She loved on all my aunt's friends, everybody that came there who was every bit of sexual orientation. But she always stood firm on her belief about nature and God. And so I think he went there to take his grandkids to see a movie.
Right.
You ain't go there and try to teach them nothing of that. You know what I mean? It's just uncomfortable sometimes for people to be able to have a discussion because they may not know the words, you know, and so just like in Snoop's defense, because people be like, oh, he had this rap music that degraded women and degraded men and talk about violence. But I knew the age that rap music was supposed to be in. You letting your child listen to that rap music was your problem. But the age that was supposed to be in was somebody 18 or and older who could possibly get, you know, stupid environments like he was rapping about. Not your 2-year-old, not your 5-year-old wasn't supposed to be listening to that. That's your problem. You know, so that's why I said with an angel and a devil kid, I grew up with kids. I see this stuff. I see how this twisting of young people is happening on social media.
Yeah.
Like even ones who ain't gay, they be like, oh, I might be bi, you know, because, and they think, you got girls out here dating girls because they think it's easier than dating boys. A girl will drag you quicker. A girl will put you through. I know a whole bunch of lesbians wishing they could back right now.
Women put their hands on each other.
Yeah, they beat each other. You got a lot of men out here who say they're gay, but they ain't never been with a man sexually. Because they'll say, well, I'm scared, but, you know, I don't know. Because, yeah, you taking something up to behind is a whole lot of power player. You know what I mean? That's a whole different thought process. But I'm saying we getting our young people so twisted in certain things because we can't even establish boundaries. Now, that's why you fluid. Young people need a ledge not to jump over. But we're not giving it to them. We say, oh, that's their life. That's what they can do. And I'm not, like I said, whatever you want to be, go ahead. But I'm against a lot of stuff that's going on. I do not vote for the kids getting medication or certain things at a young age as far as blockers. I think your child has to be in the right frame of mind as an 18-year-old to say this is something they permanently want to do. Because I read and met people, this stuff is affected, physically. We're learning now what those blockers do to people who are 40 and 30 who are taking them. You know, so yes, I get it. I went to see I'm going to see Disney play it. Like I looked at my child's show one day. I was like, wait a minute, this is what we doing? Click off. I was like, and it's not because you're scared.
What you just said, you know, a lot of people feel like it's not enough, especially in the LGBTQ community, to be, you know, oh yeah, like I'm okay with you living your life, but you know, I still have my beliefs. No, they want you to believe what they believe.
All in it,
and so, you know, I've seen that a lot with a lot of people. But what do you think about this?
I don't think Snoop didn't. I think people want to use it as a clickbait because he famous. Oh, Snoop in trouble. Snoop, what he did wrong. Yeah. I mean, if it was me with my child, kids are inquisitive. They're going to ask questions, and that's their right. That's how they learn the world. And even small kids know that 2 women don't make a baby, 2 men don't make a baby. A woman and a man make a child, you know, and he just didn't want to answer that time. And then
you got to go into in vitro, IVF, all that stuff.
And then them his grandkids, he will probably let their parents handle that, how they see fit. You know, people just want to do clickbait on this and that for Snoop in trouble. Snoop ain't did a damn thing wrong. But you know, was that Trump inauguration? That's the only thing. But that's neither here nor there.
Let's be honest. That's really why they came after him.
Yes, of course.
They wouldn't be saying nothing right now if they didn't see. Because that's the argument. That's the argument I've seen from a lot of people. Oh, he's a sellout, and he's this and he's that. They're trying to cancel him.
No, but let me tell you why I disagree with that.
All these black men. They're coming after all these black men because that's all they want to do now. Every single person. It's like, who do you have left? They done came after everybody. They have people thinking that the director in Atlanta is
Tyler
like
Perry?
a bad guy now.
Tyler Perry?
Because of all of his allegations. There's a difference between allegations. Tyler Perry.
Oh, you said Atlanta.
Allegations and, you know, actual fact.
But this is what I want to say when you were talking about, damn it, I almost forgot my damn train of thought. When you look at Snoop isn't canceled because of this right here. Like, because he was a Trump supporter, because you so see white people's buying his stuff, or black people still was rocking with him either. Soon as you start talking about the alphabet community, they come harder than they come for when people talk about us. We've seen it. Even some of the millennials and all the Gen Zs and Xers who have children who are in part of the LGBTQ community. Like that, it was Marlon Wayans that said something that was on a larger scale to Snoop. But you know, they're not teaching you, trying to, you know, brainwash. They're trying to just introduce the kids and teach them such and such. So that's what made Snoop respond to the comment, right? And so I'm looking at this. I said, how many of y'all would really care if your child wasn't coming at you with that? If your mama or your girlfriend, you know what I'm saying, or your friend and your homegirl wasn't saying this. And so we're sitting here with people that fighting harder. They were trying to cancel him more so for that. Not even because he rode it hard against black people with the Trump thing. And so I always side eye that because I'm like, damn, so because once again, more white people are involved. That's why we're here to talk about it. And so when you're saying, if I don't agree with you, then I'm not all in. I know people who tell their kid, look, I love you, I'm always ride with you, but they be like, oh, but they don't accept me, they don't want my man in the house. All this. I said, that's their house, but they did not disrespect you. They did not disrespect your man. That's why you have that lady right now who's at the Supreme Court, because they had that lady lose her job and she had to pay all that restitution when she would not have issued the marriage license for the gay couple. So they're using her right now as the, figurehead, even though she got her issues, for the Supreme Court case to get overturned for gay marriage. And I looked at that, I was like, all y'all had to do in that case, when I was looking at it back in the day, I was like, was tell her, hey, I'm going to go ahead and process their paperwork. You step to the left. All you had to do is respect somebody else's right if they are not disrespectful to you, if they are not mean about it, and keep it moving. You went and had this lady fired, had this lady prosecuted, and all what this lady had to pay restitution. You can tell she's an old broke white lady. And this lady been going through this for years. Just like the photographer, the people that made the baker lady lose her business because of all the money she had to pay. She even recommended a baker to them that would have baked the cake. They even admitted all this in court.
They wanted the same sex.
I said, don't, that's what black people had the problem. I'm not forcing you to accept me. I said, because when I force you to accept me, even a little bit of modicum of indecency you had for me goes out the door. And I even asked gay people, I said, why do you need, for some people, because you have older gay people don't care for younger gay people's tactics. Because they was like, Veronica, they fight too much for people to like them and accept them. And I was like, why is it so important? And sometimes I start to think, I need, Hendrix, or I'm just our last name. Brooks to say I'm good in order for me to still buy it in my head. I really do, because it's a psychological thing. Like, why do you need your birth certificate changed? I never had nobody ask me on a date for my birth certificate. Why do you need to have all of these steps in place that are like paperwork wise, other than, I know if you had the complete change, because it starts to feel like you need me to say what you want to believe is okay. You need that validation. And black people went through that too a little bit too, during like the Jim Crow and enslavement era. So once you realize like, oh, I can't work on your validation, I'm moving in who I am. I think we're twisting a lot of stuff up and jumping on every little stupid thing.
I don't know if
there needs to
wins,
be space left for people who, may not have been the norm when they were growing up. And so you're telling them something different from what they
to accept it.
From what they've always believed.
And with Marlon Wayans, he has a kid that's like that too. So that's
I think
why
his
he
daughter's
transgender. His daughter's like that. So he has a kid like that. So that's why he's cool. And I get he's supporting this kid.
But if I respect your choice, I mean with respect now, not bigotry involved, not hatred involved. If I respect your choice, why can't you respect when I said, hey, according to my belief, and if I'm a Buddhist or whatever, Islam, Muslim or Christian, I don't believe.
Because they're going to flip. They like she said, the LGBTQ plus whatever.
Yes, plus.
They're going to definitely do that. There was a great interview with Flame Monroe. You know Flame Monroe
I love Flame, because Flame Monroe is like my aunt back in the day.
Is, you know Flame Monroe is?
Yeah, you know
Flame Monroe is a transgender woman, right?
Okay.
Even Flame Monroe says, a lot of stuff they do, she said they don't even accept him, I guess with her. Her. They don't accept her. And she said, you got to realize, even at the hem of this, even though they're gay, it's still a gay white man.
Look,
that's what they're going to look at. And which is true. Like she said, they want to make you accept, but look, I respect you. That's what you choose to do. But like you said, some people grew up, like my mother, old school. They grew up different. They're not going to sit there, and a lot of old people are not going to accept that. They're going to say, hey, that's you, but this is my boundary. Respect my boundary, and you have to respect people's boundary.
Allow space for it.
You have to. Like now I'm coming up. Like they're trying to make a lot. Even some of these commercials nowadays, they would have it'd be two men and it'd be little kids. They may not be fully embracing on, but that's implied that these two men are a couple. Okay, it is what it is. If that's what they're gonna do, that's fine. But you have to respect people where they are. You have to respect.
That's why I kind of like the show Modern Family. Like Ed O'Neill was who he was as a father.
Yeah.
And he still loved his son. And I think when people try to wrap it in the hate, they really try to tie it in that you don't love me because you don't accept that. I can like people and I don't like the fact that they late all the time. I don't like the fact that, you know what I'm saying, they liars. But I'm like, man, I love them, but that joker's a liar. You know what I mean? I said people can accept you and still care for you deeply and just not accept everything about you. And it's okay. And I'm not talking about on a negative level. You know what I mean? I think we've gotten too caught up in this. It's eating our younger people up.
Well, we're going to get in trouble for this.
And well, no.
You know you don't want to test me with a response. I'm being nice to my response.
And I'm going to say this to anybody and everybody. A black person in America, they don't have to accept nothing from nobody. All the bullshit we went through and still currently going through. If a black person stand on something, say, hey, look here, I don't want to explain this to my grandson, whatever. That's just what it is. All the bullshit we go through in this country, a black person don't have to accept nothing from nobody.
And if I'm black, if you black, I'm a ride for you. I don't care. You black, LGBTQ, whatever. I was like, come at me first as a black person. Because when that cop stop you, he didn't ask who you sleeping with.
Exactly.
When them person fired you, they didn't ask who you in bed with. They just saw whatever they need to see to make an assumption about you, and it was not that. And we got too many LGBTQ black people and people of color that are dying over stuff, and nobody's coming to save them but us still too.
But before y'all ride for that cause, whether it's animals or LGBTQ, we need to come together and we need to come together and ride for just being black in America. We need to put that at the forefront. That need to be the cause.
All right, we'll see what people say.
You know he gonna cut it out when we sounding like goddamn haters.
Nah, I mean, listen, I'll keep it in.
Look.
All right.
No, I'm talking about we haters.
Oh,
go ahead.
You know they're gonna be saying something.
We got one more last.
All right,
topic.
so let's talk about Isaac
Hayes.
Isaac Hayes Jr.
So this is a clip of Isaac Hayes Jr. I can't remember what the panelist he's on, but he talks about black economics, how we need to do group economics. He talks about how we support and how we build Clubhouse, how we built the T app, how we built all these apps. And these guys are putting money in people's pockets that are against our benefit and our growth. And then he even has, if y'all get time to go down his thing, this is the clip that talks about that, but he has a great interview with Malcolm Jamal Warner, one of his final interviews, where he's talking about will it take for black people to get to this level of unifying and understanding that we got to work together.
All right.
I am really, I say this all the time, I am really proud of all the black people that have accomplished all the amazing things that they have done. All the multimillionaires that have individual success in this country. I think it is amazing. But I don't think that can no longer be the flex. That can no longer be the flex, that you've made it, and aspirationally, if I make it, you can make it. I think there needs to be a further step of collaboration of how we come together and start to scale businesses, because a lot of these things don't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense, meaning black culture has the ability to identify multiple infrastructures and businesses in this country and then collectively elevate any one of those things to the enormous amount of success that a parallel industry is that white culture does. I can give examples. We know Derek Bailey, who has Derek Automotive. It's an EV manufacturer. So everybody hates Elon. He has Derek Automotive. But I'm pretty sure the black community could identify a black EV maker. We know of one, right? And maybe there might be others. And then instead of buying Teslas, we buy that car and elevate that industry to a level of where it does. Shout out to my guy, Bam Sparks, who has Culture Wireless. Culture Wireless is a telecommunications company that has a deal with T-Mobile, very similar to like kind of what Mint Mobile was with Ryan Reynolds. We could all get Culture Wireless accounts and use that as a cellular service. And so I'm putting my money in infrastructures, right? I'm investing in things that I feel like can scale, but collectively, all of us can have a part of that. And it's the same thing with fan base.
All right. Well, there you go.
So what I wanted to bring our attention to, because all the stuff that is going on right now, and we can talk about the Cardi, we can talk about Jussie. I ain't got time for none of them goddamn people. It's like, the reality is we have to practice group economics right now. And I think we're still caught up in, we're not seeing it. We got a lot of people that not recognizing what's happening because it's not hitting and knocking on their door personally yet. But they're like, oh, no, it ain't as bad as they think, or they want to stick their head in the sand. No, it is as bad as you think that people are saying it is. You just haven't felt it. sorted yet. So right now we're looking at 1.7 black people unemployed, not underemployed, not working no gig, unemployed. 1.7 million black people, 7.2% of the population right now. And we know we only like mainly 14-50% of the population, right? When you look at how many black women are unemployed right now, that 400,000 black women have been unemployed since January. LinkedIn getting attacked left and right, not just with black women. You got black men, you got white people, you got Asian people. All I'm looking for work right now. One of the shockers for me was when you had John Deere, who I've never known, laid people off, and they came out and said, because of the tariffs, we're laying off 300 people plus employees, and we're right now almost in a $300 million deficit because of the tariffs. Because these farmers ain't working. You ain't got nobody. They say right now there's 1.2 million migrants missing out of the farmers markets right now to be able to do this stuff. So when you want to look at what's going on, it's not just affecting one sector. Every sector is getting affected. You look at even the real estate in Atlanta. You go on Realtor.com, every arrow is pointing down. Because they got to move these houses. These corporations got so greedy and didn't understand, like, oh, what you thought was going to happen is not happening. Inflation didn't keep up with the fact that you wasn't giving people a living wage. So now they sitting on all this property. You got to move it. You know, and that's one of the things the Democrats did. They were trying to pass a law where these corporations had to give up at least 10% of their homes. But, you know, that's not switched back over. So now they got to do it voluntarily. But what I want black people to understand is y'all are so caught up in, we got to unify on such a huge level. No, we don't. Because there was a handful of people that fought against enslavement. There was a handful of black people that fought against Jim Crow. There was a handful of black people that fought for civil rights. There was a handful of black people that fought for George Floyd. Think about all the millions of black people that are here. How many did you really see in the street? It was thousands, you know what I'm saying, across the country that added up to millions of black people. So we get confused. And then I had to remind somebody, I said, Jesus went from 72-12 to 3. 3 people could handle his message, what he was saying. They had to disseminate to the 12 because they could understand the language and speak the language of the 12. The 12 had to go and disseminate to the 72. The 72 had to go disseminate to everybody else. Everybody isn't meant to be the martyr. Everybody ain't meant to be the speaker. Everybody ain't meant to be the banker. Some people are meant to play their positions. Group economics, find you 2 or 3 people that y'all can get together. Somebody got credit, somebody got money, or everybody got money. Start looking at real estate. Real estate is still one of your best economic strongholds in America and globally. You got people like John Hope Bryant that you can go to his website, like hope.org, I think it is. I don't want to misquote it. They pull your credit for free. They set you up to know how to buy real estate for free. You know what I'm saying? You have things like the Real Estate and Roast in Charlotte, hosted by Chris Denson every other Friday. This brother now got almost $6 million worth of real estate that came out of that room. Him and those people bought up areas, and they were the one gentrifying the areas. The black people brought in infrastructure. They brought in money. They didn't allow their area in Charlotte to be bought up. These are people that are local and people that are national you can get with. I said, then we already in media and tech. We grew the T app. Who the people you know would say, oh, the T? That was us. And this white man literally bought it, and y'all went on there and started tearing each other apart as black men and black women. Talking about something stupid as a bad date with each other. And this man evaluation shot up to millions off of all y'all contacts that y'all did on this app. The same way with Clubhouse. Clubhouse, 2 dudes is big Trump supporters. They took your money and hired the man that choked that black man out in the train station in New York that got off. Oh. And he had no investment skills, no investment background. So you just hired him because he got away with killing a black man in New York subway. So when you want to say who you're supporting, that speaks a lot for me. And it goes into even with Josiah was talking about earlier, Brooks was talking about earlier about the attack on black men. The sad thing for it is a lot of black men are going on white-owned media and attacking their own. When you had Ray Lewis going on that guy, was it PBD podcast, that dude is a straight Trump supporter. I said when his parents used the same immigrant laws that we fought for to get their ass over here. You get what I'm saying? And he constantly attacks, just like Vlad. Vlad is a straight culture vulture. And any black man that goes on Vlad, I eyeball. When Godfrey tried to call that out, I was like, you go in there and you tear yourselves up. Because even Isaac Hayes talks about that. Black men, you get money and you get it twisted. You forgot the baseline of what you, and I'm not telling anybody to do with their money what they don't want to do. But they don't practice the group economics that the Jewish people do at AIPAC and outside AIPAC. They don't practice the group economics that wealthy white people do, because wealthy white people don't give a good goddamn about broke white people. Okay? They be like, you white in America. Grant Cardone said this out of his own mouth. You are white in America. How are you not winning? He said, how am I going to let an immigrant come over here or somebody come over here and take what literally should be mine? He said this out of his own mouth on the interview you can Google. And so I'm looking at it and said, we don't practice that enough because we're so interwoven. We can own media. We own it technically. We don't own the rights to a lot of stuff. But hip hop is worldly. I was like, people say, what's your culture? Media, entertainment, real estate, tech, infrastructure with healthcare. We can get into these things right now. Anything that's dealing with boomers is money. I don't give too much of my secrets out online because I don't want y'all around here. The revolution ain't televised around me. I tell my people what to do at private meetings. But there's big sectors in booming. We want to get into things that are easier, so that's why we get into hair care. We get into things like that because they're easier to get into. Tech is a little harder, but tech is where you want to go. Hospitality is where you want to go. People still trying to travel for cheaper. People still trying to have experiences, but they're not going to come to every soft girl party you have. But that's still that boomers. Anything that deals with their care, cleaning their homes, these things make money. Nutrition makes money. We can get into these things. Real estate makes money. Buy it up while you can. And practice, once again, group economics. It doesn't need to be 20, y'all. It can be just 2. It can be 5. And one thing, vet these people y'all listening to online. A lot of these people y'all listen to now, y'all be like, oh, he got busted because he was full of shit. And you didn't see it because and I don't blame a lot of people, and please take this. If you don't know business, you will fall for whatever somebody's telling you. You will fall for, oh, they made $10 million. They don't even have blinds in their house. But they on here telling me what? I know people who selling you courses on real estate that only got 3 properties. Whereas I got people who got hundreds of properties, they ain't selling you a course. Because they're too busy working. I'm just being honest with that. I said, I know people who start up tech companies like the young man who started the app, who can tell you like your food tastes according to your TikTok searches and stuff like that. The black young man who started the app. And they was like, oh, now Uber Eats and all, I'm bit off of it. And people was mad. They was like, see, as soon as we get something patented. I said, y'all don't know how business work. Even patenting and trademarking that, it's still an idea that they could just add to it. It doesn't mean it knocks this young black man out. It just means it's competition, it's market.
Yeah, you scale your business.
More ain't gonna stop selling. Yeah, Mr. Clean, because Target selling it.
You grow it to scale.
You know what I'm saying? And so you got to diversify. But one of the black things that black people run into is we do run into capital issues. We see what's going on right now with Uncle Nearest, and she has a huge popular brand. Yeah. But when you bring some people in, they'll try to destroy your brand, and they'll use technicalities to do it and try to take over your companies. When I wish we would learn to not want to scale as fast. You know, you even listen to Pinky Cole was telling you with Slutty Vegan. You're scaling fast and you're not watching everybody because you're trusting people. And then you like, okay, these companies that we're trying to get like have been around for 100 years. That's why they do all us reparations. They've been around for 100 and plus years. So you're trying to meet them. So go slow. That's my question to a lot of people. Scale slow. If you can, make it happen in a quicker rate, but go slow and go at a nice, steady pace so you can watch your money grow. And you don't have nobody trying to pull it from under you. When anybody tell you that black people can't make money off each other, they can't be loyal, you better ask every Asian that's in our community making money, from the haircare stores to the dang sushi places and the buffets. You better ask every Indian we grew up with in Charleston. They own all the hotel chains or donut shops that we grew up with. Everybody can make money. You better ask all the black ones or the Jewish ones that own the liquor stores and the check cashing shops. Everybody made money off of us while they were telling us we couldn't. Like when we came into integration, tore us up. How many millions of dollars black people brought into white people's households when we got integrated? We brought in millions of dollars and took it out of our communities. Group economics, you're looking at real estate, you're looking at media, you're looking at anything that's dealing with boomers. And as far as if you want to do Gen Zs, which they're the second now largest population, anything that's like a little luxury item, they love a $7 cupcake because it makes them feel like they're doing something with their money. You got to sometimes think outside the box, but you got to support each other. Everybody want to do an event space. I want to always got them have an event every week. I'm just saying, everybody trying to do work co-ops, white and black people, they're failing because people are too worried about how their money's going to go to run a space from you. But guess what? They're trying to figure out where the elderly mom is going, where the elderly uncle is going, where the disabled kid, can they get child care for that? Can they get somebody to come in and watch them and give them a break? Y'all want money. I teach this, money's in the mundane. Who owns baking soda? I talk about this in my book. Who owns baking soda?
Who does?
The family is private. And they make billions off of baking soda, one product that's in your laundry detergent. They've licensed it to Colgate, Procter & Gamble, all these places. Mundane. We got to start thinking mundane. Get in the farmers. Support these local farmer markets. A lot of them are black owned now. They'll ship their meat to you. They'll ship the vegetables in local area. But get into these black farm co-ops. You can make everybody's brand, but you can't make our own. Our own brands can't build. Yeah. Actively Black deals with black farmers who literally produce their own cotton. Why aren't you buying Actively Black gear? Let's be real about it. But you all up in here with Nike because Jordan had a jump shot on it. We got to stop. We're too comfortable. And black people dropped the ball after the civil rights movement. We dropped the ball. We got too reliant from the NAACP to a lot of HBCUs. We got too reliant on government grants and corporate funding We forgot how we built those schools, how we built Black Wall Street, which was you giving me $5 a month, you giving me $1 a month. We built it like that, and we keep forgetting. Our collective power and collective voice is enormous. We are global. I went to Belgium and saw George Floyd doggone thing painted on the wall. They mimic us with everything, and it's not just hip hop. It's a status that we have. It's a culture that we have. So when any other immigrant come over here and say y'all don't have a culture, then take your ass back to where you came from. And then build the same way you were building over there, and tell me if it works.
Yeah. But they say the wealthiest blacks in the world is the so-called African Americans over here. They say we out of all Africans per capita.
But resource-wise, you got a lot of rich Africans.
Yeah. But that's as far as per capita, as far as a group.
Yeah.
Group-wise, yeah.
I hear what you're saying. What's the lowest barrier to entry? Because there's a lot of people who don't really have the resources to like find these different people and like pay for these things. What do you say to those people like who actually want to like, you know, participate in some of the things you were talking about, but like, you know, for them to look at, okay, I'm gonna invest in real estate. That's like a big idea, you know, like I'm trying to invest in gas money, you know what I'm saying? Like, so for those people, what would you say?
So one of the things that I always prided myself on is I always told any financial advisor I had coming to my conferences or anything like that, I say, what's the common factor? Tell somebody who only got $5 because that's how we grew up. You know what I mean? Who only has $5. I was like, if all they can save is $5 a week, that's $20. Okay, now they can go buy a CD. Because people don't realize sometimes the smallest thing gives people hope. They're like, damn, I just bought a CD. How many of y'all homeboys not brag to y'all like how they did one little thing? They're like, man, I just bought me a CD, man. Man, I just opened a high-yield savings account. They didn't know what that is, but they know it's a trajectory to better finances for themselves. So you can start with small things like opening a high-yield savings account, and you can do those online. You can start with small things. It's like even if you're trying to get an investment, go play on Robinhood. You can play on Robinhood for just $5 a month. You know what I'm saying? And then as far as you being able to invest in real estate, there are plenty of groups that will tell you what to do to start getting set up. Even if you don't want to invest, if you just maybe want to buy your own. Like John Hope Bryant organization, they help you with your credit for free. These are rich. He's one of the largest Black American real estate investors in the U.S. And he has the Hope organization. It's a lot of people out there. All these podcasts, and y'all paying people $10,000, $15,000 when they telling you this stuff for free. You can follow things like I love Vivian, your rich BFF. Right? She's an Asian lady. Vivian always telling you how to get to the bag. And it's from NR, like being part of AARP. People don't know if you're 18, you can be part of AARP. You can save on insurance. You can save on car insurance, health insurance. You can save on flights, all of these little things like that. It's ways that you can start tackling to be better. One of the systems they use against us in America is our credit report. We got to do better. So when you get to agencies, pull your credit report for free. Every state allows you to pull your credit report once or twice a year for free. Pull it and see where you at. And it's okay to eat it. You messed up, you didn't know. You know, and then you start looking at ways to say, how can I make this different in 6 months to a year? You don't have to pay people. People, it's easy to pay them because they can go through the letters, but you got ChatGPT at your disposal. Get the writing. You know what I'm saying? Now you start looking, somebody else, he know how to build something. He know how to fix it. You got the credit. I got the money. Come together. Okay, you may not even know how to build. You're like, man, I know it's handing out flyers. I can connect y'all with people, do this. Find people that will allow you to use your sweat equity. Like that's how I invested in some of the businesses that I'm invested in. Like the person had the sweat equity, I had the money and the means. Like all some people need you to do is say, okay, can you invest in me? But you got to be willing to work. You got to come with a plan. You don't have to have a lot of money to get in these groups. You don't even have to have money at all. Do you have enough sweat equity? Are you teachable? Are you coachable to get in? And that's what we got to understand. It's not always about the money. It's always not about your credit rate being high. It's you got to be willing to go find it too.
And that credit, you know, that was a means to wean Black people out.
Exactly.
That's what that came up with. That's
so
why
was college funding. So was college funding. But we got to stop letting us hold that. That's what we got to stop.
Black people, but
And right now we're going through a lot of them getting their credit tore up because a lot of y'all kids went through Clamor. And now Clamor's reporting on their credit. How do you not think that was going to happen?
You tell me who?
Clamor,
Klarna.
That buy now pay,
Klarna,
got people paying for paying $20, $4 a week for a shirt. I said it literally was like those rent now paid centers that was in our neighborhoods. And I was telling my kids when they first started years ago, I said, they about to set a whole lot of young people up. And now they reporting on your credit report. Because you didn't pay for that shirt. You didn't pay for this. And when you look at those things, it's like they already trying to set you back. Now you got college funding. Stop telling your kid they always got to go to these 4-year colleges. Take your kid to one that would give them a trade right on the spot. And they learn through internships. They get paid. My son is in college for drama and welding, my younger son. I was like, you won't always be able to eat. And I was like, and we got it. And I know people don't hit us, but some part of us has to be like the foreign people that push their kids into certain fields. You can go do your passion later. Yeah. Right now, have something to feed you. And I was like, and there are ways to go to college. There are ways to get the certifications that will not cost you a lot of money.
Yeah, because right now, a bachelor's degree don't really mean nothing.
Man,
it really don't mean nothing. Bachelor's degree is like almost like having associates now.
Let me tell you how the companies are getting you now. You don't notice in the last 5 to 6 years, they don't even have that recommended. It was like, oh, bachelor's degree or experience.
Yeah,
because now they can play with how much they're going to offer you. Yeah. But people can get into a lot of things. Start pulling your credit for free just to check that financially. Get yourself in a space. Start looking at how you can pull back and save. You're not going to save your way into wealth. That's just the reality of it. But you can start learning to have a little extra funds to invest in a $5 stock. Invest in penny stocks. You know what I mean? Buy a $50 CD, twice every quarter. Then now you got 4 CDs at the end of that. Get you a high yield savings account. Of all you putting in is $20 here, $20 here, $20 or $10, because a lot of people are just living on gas money right now. Yeah. And group economics is if you have a house or an apartment that you are paying rent on and you just a decent human being, hit your relative up and see if y'all can move in with them. And say, hey man, look, the way stuff's set up, I'll give you this money right here, while I'm saving to move or do better. And now that person has money to pay their rent or their mortgage. So they saving, and now you're saving too. Y'all better understand the same way some of these immigrants did and moving in. That was American mindset that everybody had to get their own because it allowed more companies to give y'all more mortgages. Because if 5 people in the house, the parents and the 3 kids, they saw 5 mortgages. Yeah. 4 mortgages. So practice that. People like, man, I can't move with my cousin.
Hispanics do that all the time.
But some people are good people and would let you do that because it alleviates the money coming out of their pocket. These are just small group economic things y'all can do, but stop feeling like you got to have all this money or you got to be on stage with these people who talk about invest fast and all this stuff like that. That is not where you have to be at to start mentally saying, how do we work together? Like he said, start going on the fan base and join fan base. Going Calendly. Calendly is black owned. People don't even realize that. Mm-hmm. I said, start going on our apps. Get y'all behind all some of these people apps who literally funding your downfall. Like the T-App dude, like the damn Clubhouse dudes. And they're using this valuation. I'm slowly trying to get off of Instagram. I'm migrating stuff to fan base. Same thing with TikTok, same thing with Facebook. These white supremacist infrastructure people feel like they have us so comfortable that we can't move outside of them and to get what we getting from them. You got to sometimes be willing to be uncomfortable. And I say this for decades. Black people, they're not willing to be uncomfortable. A lot of them.
Well, here's the thing. There's nobody organizing, though.
No. And I say
it's
small.
It's okay to say these things.
Yeah, it's okay.
But at the end of the day, there's nobody organizing and putting people together.
And
who's it going to be? Because, back in the day, we had these leaders, these civil rights leaders who kind of were the champion for people and kind of led people. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, who is going to be the Moses? Who is going to be, somebody who can lead people and connect people and put people together? Because right now it just seems like everybody's just kind of like, well, that person will do it. Yeah. Oh, this person, we'll let them do it. And then nothing gets done.
And then we're in silos. We're in silos.
Go ahead.
No, that's what I'm saying. We're in silos. So like my group, they're working, but that's a silo group. Okay. But when people come in, we give them the information. We don't sit here and gatekeep information. I've never been that person. I'm like, hey, get in where you fit in, and make it work. The thing is, we're in silos. So I know groups that are working here. This person is working here. These 2 people working here because we have lost the trust we had for each other. And I think when you talk about the leaders that we had, and even though we had like MLK as the head, I forgot the black lady that was from South Carolina that was like one of his right-hand men, and she was in the MLK movie, Like she was like, we got to make leaders out of everybody. Because if you fall, what's going to happen? They're going to start falling. They can't understand that they can watch themselves and lead themselves into this economic, she said, or civil rights turn that we're doing. I forgot her name. She's from South Carolina. Yeah. And that's one thing. I think and this is still misogyny at its core, even for women. We looking for these black men that we can trust and stuff. Because that was the Malcolm, that was the Martin, that was the Medgar Evers, you had the Harry Tubmans and things like that. But once TV-wise and media started getting into it, we had these black men that were who we were looking to. Mm-hmm. And I think when we looked at that and we don't have it, and it's sad to say because a lot of them got that money and they got twisted thinking they were the same as these people. You know what I mean? Or they think that they have to be this and they're unapologetic about when they do screw us over. And want us to support them. And we know they're too comfortable. A lot of them are just too comfortable. Like you see some of them who talk it, but the ones that can do it, they still too comfortable. Like I see people who won't even post about what they disagree with Trump online. And it's not because they can't post online, but I know why they do it. I say, you're scared of getting fired. You're
Yeah.
scared of what your boss gonna say. You're scared of what your neighbor's gonna think. But that same company that you're scared of pulled all the DEI projects back.
Mhm.
Like Cracker Barrel literally let the MAGA influence people stop them from growing. I've never eaten at Cracker Barrel, so there's that. But I looked at that from the business standpoint of a business owner. You wanted to rebrand because you want to be irrelevant and make money. You want revenue to start coming in. So you let people push you into a belief that wasn't even your original intent. You know what I mean? To put the original logo back, right? These are same people that wasn't keeping you financially solvent. Think about that. The people that wasn't supporting you enough for you to keep that Cracker Barrel or I'm gonna say the man on the logo got you changing it back when they didn't even financially support you enough for you to think about revamping and thinking about becoming different. So you think you're gonna grow now? Now they cut all their DI programs. I was like, oh, okay, bet. The same people didn't support you enough to stay. And so people say, oh, but they lost $100 million. I said, they didn't lose $100 million. I said, that was all hype and valuation. I said, their stock wasn't even rising already because they weren't coming in with market shares and the revenue like they should have. So you allowed the people that wasn't even supporting you at a certain level to turn you back from making money. So they're telling you, we don't care enough about you. We care about feeding this base right here for whatever reason. Because even the guy who was the founder of Cracker Barrel had a problem with them taking it off. He was like, they should have just left it on. And we know when he probably started. You know. So, but I'm saying, like, we gotta sit here in these silos because we don't trust each other on a larger level.
So I do like, let me say real quick before I know you about to jump in.
Go.
Let me say I do like what Isaac Hayes Jr. did say for as when a black person, because we talking about us.
Yeah, I'm giving them other people.
You white people always do this, but when a black person make it, we shouldn't be like, oh, I made it, now you can make it. You know what I'm saying? But you should say you have the mentality, yeah, I made it. But if you want to make it, let me show you how I made it. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to have a big, giant infrastructure. We can have small pockets. You know what I'm saying? And granted, there are some crooks on social media who mess up some funding.
Ain't no such thing as halfway crooks.
Exactly. But some things of what they're saying may be palpable, right?
Yeah.
So you can take from what they're saying, right? And then with a smaller group, you guys define your own mission.
Yeah.
What you want to do to come up. You don't need a whole, because a lot of times when you it'd be amazing if you able to have a pack with like 30, 40 people and everybody got bread. But that's 30, 40 different opinions too. That some people ain't gonna want to do it this way. They're not gonna move this way. Then you're gonna take a vote. Well, we're gonna go what the majority says. Then when the majority feel this way here, then you may have that 10 people. Well, y'all we voted right. Oh, well, we out. Yeah. And there's always going to be that, because they are stiff-necked people, what the Bible says.
And let them vote themselves out.
They are stiff-necked. That's why they've been marching around the desert for 40 years.
Yeah, they turn an 11-day journey to 40 years.
To 40 years, you know what I'm saying? But they are stiff-necked people. But
get younger people on your team.
Yeah. So
get younger people on your team.
Get with whatever you feel, get with a smaller group and then build that way. Like even with the real estate thing. If you only have a certain amount of money, let's say, okay, our goal is to slowly stack this amount. We just stacking, and then you may have someone you trust or find another custodian to hold funds, right? Or you have an account with all your name on it, and y'all got to sign off we're going to put this amount, and then when we get this a certain amount, then we're going to start looking to invest in whatever. Because I was looking at this thing on social media about small businesses to do, and they're saying some things we overlooking. It's like they said laundromat is lucrative.
Yep.
Car wash is lucrative. I talked to my mother about doing it. I asked her if she wanted to do a convenience store, but she don't want to serve alcohol. Old school principles. I said, Mom, the alcohol could be your bread and butter. She's like, well, I know I look at a laundromat if I ever can cajole her into doing something.
But you have a lot of baby boomers selling their businesses right now because they're not leaving it to their kids. They're not leaving it to their grandkids because of the fact that what you talked about earlier. Elderly care for assisted facilities right now, the minimum is $3,000 a month. That's the minimum it costs for somebody to take care of your elderly person and their assistant facility is $3,000 to $4,000. So you look at that, they're selling their laundromats, they're selling their real estate portfolios, they're selling their car dealerships, they're selling all of this stuff now. They're selling piece by piece, they're selling plumbing businesses. They don't want it even, and some of them don't want to sell it to big corporations. They want to sell it to a smaller person who wants to do this. So look at these things, and real quick, for people who say, well, how do you know I don't want to partner with nobody because they might be shady? Paperwork.
Yeah.
When I partner with people, it's all about what's on that black and white contract. Even if you go to ChatGPT and write your paperwork up so you ain't got to pay that much money for a lawyer. Get it notarized, get it, and you have to say, okay, we're doing the paperwork. This is what you bring to the table. This is what happens if you don't, adhere to your part of it and a bank account.
That's
and you can join together. You ain't got to do too much.
That's it.
All right.
Follow us for more tips.
Go ahead.
Thanks
bro.
again, Veronica, for coming on to the show.
Yeah.
This was a great show. Once again, I am Brooks.
I am Hendrix.
And I guess I gotta start saying Pearson.
Yeah.
Because everybody
want
know
to?
my full government name.
Well, it's
Oh.
you the doctor out here, you
Nah.
know. I'm just a peon.
Look, I
so
was
it's
me
what you
before
do.
that got on that title. This is Veronica.
All right. There you
Dr.
go.
Pearson.
All right. We out.
We out.
Peace.
Peace.
Yeah.